Alright, it's the NFL Week 14 spread picks. I'm going to try to make this video quick. I could go on and on about that Thursday game, that Raiders game. I'm just going to say that it was weird and leave it at that. We got some money picks for this weekend. We're going to end the season off strong. First game up, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. This line has been all over the place. Right now it's sitting at Vikings +2. Not really sure what to do with this game. The analytics and the smart people and the numbers are going to point towards taking the Lions in this spot. But we know one thing about each of these teams. The Minnesota Vikings know how to win games they're not supposed to, and the Detroit Lions know how to lose games they're not supposed to. As impressed as I've been with the Detroit Lions in their streak of games recently, they did lose that game on Thanksgiving to the Bills, and I know it's the Bills, but they lost that game to the Bills that they should have won. They were at home with several opportunities, and they just didn't know how to close it out. The Minnesota Vikings, on the other hand, are the exact opposite. The Lions have probably played better overall as a team this season than the Vikings have, but the Vikings just play well when it matters most, and because of that, I'm not going to fade a team that's great situationally versus a team that's horrible situationally. You guys know I've tried to fade the Vikings a few times earlier this year. When we had the Jets, the Vikings were able to beat the Jets. That's just the Vikings being better situationally. When we had the Patriots, the Vikings beat the Patriots. That's another game that the Vikings just special teams. They were able to take advantage of the Patriots. Looked like the better coached team, which surprised me. And when we took the Commanders versus the Vikings, the Commanders got the push. Of course, we took the Cowboys versus the Vikings. The Cowboys destroyed them. So this team is they're just a little tricky, and I would stay away from this game. Best of luck to anybody betting this. I really don't know what you do here. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. The Eagles are -7 on the road, and this is the first money pick of the week. Got to take the New York Giants here. This is a ton of points for a home team. Ton of points for a team within the division that you know very well. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles are the better team. Yes, they have the better roster. They're just more dominant. They just have more firepower. But the Giants are a team they've been fighting all year long. They've been fighting and they've been exceeding expectations all year long. Season is kind of on the line with the last few games here for the Giants. And they're just a team that, they like to run the ball. Quarterback is mobile, Saquon Barkley. And the Eagles, you can run on the Eagles. If you run on the Eagles, it's going to be pretty bad weather. It's going to be raining tomorrow in New Jersey. That's where the Giants play. And it's going to be tough weather. You got mobile quarterback, running back. They're just going to keep the game kind of low scoring. You see the total sitting at 45, which is pretty low for a Philadelphia team that scores a lot of points. So the Giants are going to try to control tempo here. Brian Daboll, I trust him situationally. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm not saying that they're not going to win this game, but to cover the 7 is going to be a lot. Potentially, if the Eagles are just balling out of control and the Giants are playing horribly, we may get a push with this 7. That's why I went and grabbed the 7 before it went down to 6.5, but now it's back up at 7. But this is a game that the Giants should cover. It's just a spot we have to take. Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Ravens with Huntley are +2 on the road. Look, if this was +3, I'd probably be leaning Ravens. Actually, if it was +3, I'd be on the Ravens. If it was +3.5, I would definitely be on the Ravens. But when you see this total sitting here so low, they're telling you that the Ravens probably aren't going to score any points. TJ Watt is back for the Steelers. Fitzpatrick is always hanging around there. So with Kenny Pickett playing better, giving you better quarterback play, I'm not quite sure what you do in this game. I wouldn't be mad at anybody who took the Steelers because they're at home and they're getting better quarterback play. But with Huntley, it's just tricky because Lamar hasn't been that good this season, and Huntley does some of the same things as Lamar. So you could kind of argue that the Ravens have been playing with kind of whatever kind of mediocre quarterback play this season. So it's kind of hard to grade this game, and it's just, we know that when these two teams face each other, it's just going to be like a slugfest. This is not a game that you really want to watch. It's going to be super ugly. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Browns are +5.5, and this is the second money play of the week. We got the Browns when they were +6. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram so you can get the plays right away before I get a chance to make the videos. I always put the plays up right away so we get the best line number. And with the Browns +6, this isn't about Deshaun Watson. I know he didn't look good last week, but this is another week of him in the system. He's going to play better than he played last week. And more than anything, this is just about the run game and the defense. Joe Burrow just has a problem against the Cleveland Browns. It's because Myles Garrett is just over there wrecking shop every single time against the Bengals O-line. Yeah, Joe Burrow, he just struggles against the Browns. The Browns are like his Achilles heel. It's like Tom Brady going against the Saints. We always see that there's great quarterbacks. They have that one team that they kind of struggle against. Just like Mahomes is pretty much struggling against the Bengals, you see Joe Burrow just struggles against these Browns. They're the division opponent that he just can't really shake off. And the Browns are going to run the ball well. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, you want to run the ball against this Cincinnati team because they're just really good stopping the pass. With Hubbard and what's the other dude's name? Henderson, Jesse Bates, safety. They have a lot of guys that can cover. They got guys that get a pass rush out on you, so you want to run the ball. The Browns always have success running the ball against this Bengals team. They always have success getting pressure against Joe Burrow. So this is a spot where I got to take the Browns getting 6 points here. It's going to be a real close game. This is another game in division that's just AFC North. The 2 division games this week, they're just going to be slugfest, just grinded out games. And in this spot, I'm going to take these points. So give me the Browns plus 6 here. Next up, we got the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. The Jets are plus 10. Honestly, I got to lean Bills here. We've been riding with Mike White the past 2 weeks. He got the cover for us against the Bears. Was real close against the Vikings. But Mike White, now he's going against a real defense. This Buffalo Bills defense is nothing to play with. On the road, Josh Allen and the boys offensively, they're going to want some revenge against this Jets team because they just fell so short against them the last time out. We had the under the last time these 2 teams played, and it hit because Josh Allen was just turning the ball over so much. I think Josh Allen takes better care of the football here. I think they play it a little bit more safe. I think they know that Mike White isn't going to hurt them, so they can afford to play it a little safe. I would lean Bills here, but it's just a ton of points. I don't know. It's just a little too much for me to take the Bills, but I really want to. Next up, we got the Houston Texans at the Dallas Cowboys. The Texans are plus 17 on the road. Not really sure what to do in this game. I didn't try to study this game at all. If it's Davis Mills at quarterback instead of Kyle Allen, that's an upgrade. With Davis Mills at quarterback, maybe plus 17 they can cover if Dak is just playing lackluster. If Davis Mills is doing okay and controlling the game managing, and if Dak Prescott is just kind of having a sluggish game, he hasn't really been that amazing since he's came back. Maybe the Texans cover this number or are somehow able to get a backdoor or something like that. They were able to kind of backdoor that Dolphins game, almost covered that. So lean Texans here, I guess. But, I mean, who would touch this game? Next game up, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. The Jacksonville Jaguars are plus 3.5 on the road. I would lean Jags here, getting the hook. Trevor Lawrence is banged up, though, and the Titans have lost a couple games in a row now. So I would suspect that maybe this isn't the best spot to buy the Jags, and also maybe this is the time that you get back on the Tennessee bandwagon. Tough game for me, not really sure what you do here. Not mad at anybody who takes the Titans just off, like, common knowledge. I kind of like the Jags a little bit more next week. If Trevor Lawrence is healthy, I kind of like them next week as home dogs against the Cowboys. I saw that line already. I'd probably rather take that spot, but here against the Titans, not really sure what you do with this. Moving on to the afternoon slate, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs are minus 9 on the road. I really want to take the Broncos just off principle, just off fundamentals. You're getting a home team that plays defense as well as the Broncos do, getting this many points. We know the Kansas City Chiefs don't really cover this number like that. We know everybody's going to be all over the Chiefs. So this is kind of a fade spot where you could take the underdog team and just keep it close. We're not saying that the Broncos are going to win the game, but lose by 7, lose by 8, backdoor the number some way, somehow. This Broncos defense has been really good, especially when they're at home. It's very hard to score on them when they're at home. This is tough. This is tough because you don't want to take Kansas City. There's no way I would take Kansas City. It's just about, do you want to put your money on Denver or not? It's tough. Kansas City coming off some losses. It's hard to not imagine them playing really tough and having a game plan for this game. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, they own the Broncos. I would lean Denver in this spot. Denver's probably the game that I'm not having money on that is like the closest one to me betting. Like, I'm real close to taking the Broncos here, but ultimately I'm just going to pass, and Sunday afternoon I'm going to be upset when I look at the score and the Broncos lost by a touchdown. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. The Panthers are plus 3.5. This is the third official play of the week. We got to take Carolina here, getting these points. The Seattle Seahawks, a little bit of name brand, a little bit of overrated, a little bit of just, they kind of got off to a hot start to start the season and kind of fooled some people. We knew that the Seahawks weren't that legit to begin with. I told you guys to take them week 1 against the Denver Broncos. There's been other times where we've hit with the Seahawks. I told you guys to take the Seahawks against the Giants. But the Seattle Seahawks, they're not a real team. We faded them against the Las Vegas Raiders. They're just not a real team. They don't really get a pass rush at all. Their defense, they can be scored on whenever you want. People rave about their young guys, and they do got some nice young players, some exciting pieces. But when it matters most, you can score on this team. And when it matters most, it's Geno Smith at quarterback. At the end of the day, Geno's been impressive this season, but it's still Geno Smith at quarterback. They're not a team that I really want to ever take if they're favored. I don't really want to ever take the Seattle Seahawks if they're favored. I just think that they get too much love from the books at this point. Carolina, this number was a lot higher. Everybody's pounding Carolina, and it's for good reason. Carolina is the side here. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is the savior of this franchise. We know how bad he's been for this team over the years. But Sam Darnold just giving them a little bit of new energy. This team has been rotating quarterbacks in and out, and whenever they put a new quarterback out there, it just seems like they give them a little pop just for a game or two. It's funny. They put P.J. Walker in, he gives them a quick little spark. You put in Baker, he has like a spark for a second or two, goes away. You put in Sam Darnold, he wins a game. So it's like they're just getting a little spark plug, trying to figure it out at the quarterback position. But defensively and in the run game, they do a real good job. And this just is a game that they're going to keep close, and two bad teams just kind of slugging it out. You take the points in this spot. Why can't Carolina win this game? And even if they lose, why would they lose by more than a field goal? Got to take Carolina in this spot. Next up, this is our fourth and final money play of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to San Francisco, facing off with the 49ers. The Niners are minus 3.5 at home. And that's the fourth play of the week. We're taking the Niners here in this spot, riding with them again. We rode with them last week when Purdy came in. We didn't know that Jimmy G was going to be out, but Purdy did a decent job. And honestly, how many points is Jimmy G worth? I like Jimmy G. I think he makes plays when they matter most. But how many points is he worth? When you bring in Brock Purdy, he looked very confident. He looked like he was sure of himself. He was confident in that pocket, standing tall, making a couple impressive throws. He threw some balls that were kind of 50-50 balls, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't that impressive against the Buccaneers. Wouldn't be surprised if he had some turnovers against this Tampa Bay defense. But it's still Shanahan doing play calls, and Shanahan's going to put him in advantageous spots, put him in spots where he can take advantage of what he likes to do most, which it looks like he likes to sling it a little bit. He's also a little bit mobile, more mobile than Jimmy G was. And, with Christian McCaffrey, this is just like a CMAC game or a Debo game, a game where they just find their guys out in space and kind of make it easy for them. Tampa Bay, their linebackers don't really cover that well. They're more for blitzing. So Shanahan is going to make them cover and try to catch them in space. So this is going to be a real interesting game. I think the 49ers defense is just too much for Tom Brady and Leftwich in this offense. This offense has just been horrible all season long. Why would they have their best game coming on the road now against the San Francisco 49ers defense? Brady coming home, it's just going to be a tough one for him. A lot going on. Give me the 49ers in this spot. Purdy, they're going to take care of business. Last two games, Sunday Night Football. We got the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Dolphins are minus 3.5, and I know I said we have 4 money plays for the week. We might end up with 5. I just have to see how I'm feeling. I just got to see that final injury report, see how everything is going. But we might end up taking the Chargers. The Chargers are real good as home dogs. Not even home dogs, but just real good as dogs in general. When the Chargers are getting points because of their style of play, they take so many risks. They take so many chances. They mess around with the score so much, going for it on fourth down and just doing unorthodox things that when they're getting points, they're always a threat. Whenever the Chargers are getting points, they're always a threat to find a way to somehow cover the number. As far as winning the game, you would think that the Dolphins getting another week in California, coming off of that San Francisco game where their O-line was just getting crushed. If Armstead comes back, or just figuring out how to get the ball out of Tua's hands faster and going up against a weaker defense, you would think that the Dolphins should be able to find a way to win this game. But the Chargers have the better quarterback. The Chargers are at home, and the Chargers are getting points. So This is potentially a spot where we may end up taking Justin Herbert and the Chargers Sunday night, but we'll see. Once again, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to be going through the injury report and just checking through everything, and we might just end up on the Chargers Sunday night. Last game, we got the New England Patriots at the Arizona Cardinals. The Patriots are -1.5. Lean Patriots. I can't really imagine the Patriots just losing a bunch of games in a row. This team, they win games when they keep the score low. They lose games when the score gets a little out of hand. I just think against Arizona, Kyler Murray, as great as he is scrambling, he doesn't really want to scramble out the pocket. Belichick's going to do a good job putting up some schemes to just outcoach Cliff Kingsbury and Mac Jones. The frustrations that he showed last week against the Bills with not really being allowed to throw the football that much. I think the Patriots are going to look at the offense and say, hey, we just have to be a little bit more aggressive. It's going to be hard for us to win games if we're being this conservative. And I think we see Mac Jones throw the ball a little bit more. I think we see a good outing from the Patriots defense. And I think Kingsbury and Kyler Murray and just the turmoil that's going on with that organization, I think at some point it just burns them a little bit. And why not here in this spot? But as home dogs, and once again, the Patriots, they don't score that much. As home dogs, I'm not fading Arizona here in this spot. So the lean is New England. If you're taking Arizona, honestly, I can't talk you off of it. It's not, I don't have a strong enough stance on the Patriots to really say much. So that's it for Week 14. Once again, we got the 4 money plays: the Giants +7, the Browns +6, the Niners -3.5, and the Panthers +3.5. Heavy lean to the Chargers at +3.5. Heavy lean to the Broncos at +9. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram to see updates when it comes to those two games, if they end up making the cut or not. I appreciate you guys all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the videos. Until next time, peace.